Next, Justice Gaines. Justice is an activist and poet in Providence, Rhode Island. Z is an organizer at Rhode Island Jobs with Justice and the Queer Justice Coordinator of Prism, Providence Youth Student Movement. Z's work as an artist explores the experience of being a Black trans woman in a polarized and post-racial U.S.
So first I want to thank the organizers of this event and for everyone who spoke and grounding really what this is about in history. I think we really have to recognize that family separation is the fabric of America. Yes. We have to understand that that is the fabric of America when it comes to slavery, when it comes to indigenous genocide, when it comes to even not just what happened on this continent, but the way the U.S. has carried out itself in other continents. We have crises in Central America because of policies put in place here. And we need to recognize that people are getting separated from their families through war, through genocide, through political persecution, and that is also our responsibility as Americans here in the U.S. to start fighting against that too. I was asked to do a poem, but I couldn't write something that really felt genuine to the issue. But something that I also want to say about these family separations is understanding that even when we're talking about families, we have to understand who's allowed to be a family in today's America. There are hundreds of queer and trans immigrants who don't even get to be called families, who don't get to come here with their partners, who don't get to be acknowledged as the parents of their children because they do not fit our understanding of what a family is supposed to look like. And we have to make sure when we're fighting for families and when we're fighting for children, we're making sure that all types of families, no matter what they look like, get to stay with their children, and that those children get to grow up to be whoever and whatever they want to be. Going back to what Councilwoman Nira said, I really do believe that it does start here. We have to look not just at, what this administration, this horrible administration is doing. We have to look at what's been happening. I love Barack Obama as an uncle. He would be invited to the cookout. But he was, for those of you who don't know, he deported more people than any other president in our history. Yes. This didn't start with Trump. No. This didn't start with this administration. This has been going on whether there have been Democrats or Republicans in office for a long time. And we need to understand within ourselves that this can't just be a political action. This has to be a daily understanding and a daily recognition of humanity. And that we have to undo what this country has done over the course of its entire history. Part of that starts with abolishing ICE. And some folks think that's radical, but ICE is barely older than a lot of these children it's separating. What I think is more radical, what was more radical, was the creation of ICE, which was a radical repudiation of compassion. It was a radical rebuke of community, and it was a radical failure of us as a country to allow it to go on this long. And what I also want to say is, as we're looking at what it means to end family separation, we have to be looking at mass incarceration. We have to be looking at the economic circumstances that separate families from their children. Whether that is through forcing work hours, that means people can't see their children. Whether it means that people are not allowed to have maternity leave and paternity leave to take care of their children. Whether that means that people have to move away from their children. I know single parents in this country who send money back to their families in other countries because they can't be with their children. And so we have to look at what ending family separation truly means, not just in this context, but beyond this context. And we also need to also need to listen to the children. We need to listen to our youth. We need to let our youth lead us. Because guess what? They have a lot more compassion than a lot of us older folks do. And so when we're looking at these issues, let's make sure we're not hindering the voices of younger people, because they are being affected by this just as much as we are, if not more. And they're gonna have to live with the consequences of all of our actions. So thank you so much for organizing this today. I really want to say that we need to really come together as a country and start acting as people on as humans, and seeing each other's humanity and leading with passion and acting with compassion, more so than just imagining what politics are. Thank you.